Hey, my lovely, lovely, wonderful, beautiful people. A pleasant Boxing Day to you. Happy holidays to everyone. And we're still in the Christmas season, so Merry Christmas, nevertheless, even though Christmas Day is officially gone for this year. I want to say this to our men because the more I really look across our island, the country, the world, my heart breaks. I've heard some men say that women are the reason why the world is in the chaotic way it is. And on the in the natural and from the onset and from the outer face, you'd want to begin to accept it, you know. And they will come up with statistics to show that people who are from the matriarchal homes, they are not necessarily successful, which I don't necessarily buy into that. Because if the number of people that have been successful in the single parent matriarchal homes, it is unbelievable. However, what I will agree with, because of how God has ordered life and formed life, shaped life, fashioned life, it is imperative to have fathers in the lives of both males and females. So not just the boys. Sometimes I hear people say the boys need their fathers. True, but the girls need their fathers as well. God, in His infinite wisdom, when He made man and woman, He made both in different ways to make the entire pie healthy. It is like when you have a cake, you know that there's some ingredients that are a must. The flour, the sugar, the butter, the maybe the yeast to make it rise, a little salt, whatever it is, the different things. I can't think of all of them right now. The vanilla, so many different things to make that cake the best cake it can ever be. Similarly, you need mothers to be the caregivers. They are not disciplinarians. They were not created to be disciplinarians. That is why women scream, because they're going outside of who they're created to be. Similarly, men are not caregivers, and we're talking generally now. We're talking naturally, where their strengths are. So it's not that the man cannot be, but he has to go outside of himself. That is why he will struggle to be a caregiver. That's why men will do some crazy, and they'll make bloopers out of it because of same. So women are not disciplinarians. If you notice, a man will just his voice will cause a child to shudder. The woman has to be screaming twice, 3 times as much, thrice as much to get the child to keep quiet. And that is defeating the purpose, because you're teaching the child chaos while the father is teaching the child discipline and control. And she's teaching the child, care and nurturing, that staying love and staying with you no matter how difficult it gets. And fathers, what the world lacks, 2 things: self-esteem and discipline. And those 2 elements actually come from men better, because of how God created you. He simply just, you can't, just as how I'm created as a female with 2 boobs and the vagina and so on, and the female, a sort of feminine touch in terms of how I look. The man was created with his penis and scrotum and whatnot, and that, the Adam's apple and all of those things. You're just created that way. You're just born that way there. Similarly, God has imparted some things, some attributes inside of you as men that only really you can impart on both the men and the women. The child I'm talking about. Only you can. That is why we have such a broken society. So you shouldn't be blaming the woman. Can you imagine if the women had done similar to the men? Oh my God, the world would have probably ended already, because the children would starve to death. There is a staying love that God has inbuilt in women. That is why you find that the woman will go to the ends of the earth to ensure that her child is safe. That love, that unconditional love. But men, God had made you to be protectors, providers, disciplinarians, and to build that self-esteem in that child. When you say, listen to me, I don't want your business when nobody think about you. I don't know if it's a voice, the masculine look. I don't know what it is, but it has something to do with that. Or it's just what God has done, so that synergy is there, so that energy passes on. So as you speak, the child receives it and says, wow, daddy tell me I can do this, so I can. Simple. When the mother has to do it, she probably has to do it time and time and time and go outside of her natural self in a sense. Some of you men have made this very weak. I call it very weak. I won't say unfounded because it is not, but it is very weak because it is not necessarily in the majority. You have some where they say the women hide the children from you. Some are not glad. Don't bother with the nonsense. Some are not glad. I was listening to a young fellow speak, and he said that there are men who say, when once the mother and I end the child, it doesn't matter if it's my child, we don't have any relationship either. He said men say that. And I believe him because I remember talking to a father and I said, you have not really contributed to the lives of your children. You never raised them. You know that single parent homes are not healthy. Why not? Nothing is wrong with the mother alone raising the child. So what? What's wrong with that? A big man, a man who is about 80, who has been around a long time, said that to me categorically. So this thing about hiding the child away or prevent that, some. And if some of you really, really and truly wanted to get that child, you would have fought tooth and nail, but you just don't have that necessarily, that tenacity and that sting love for the child. So that's an excuse. You have been wayward as men. You have been. Slavery contributed greatly to that, especially among black men. Slavery contributed greatly to that. It is as though you have no love for your children. You know how many men and women they are so angry at their fathers for just not being there, giving them that kind of reassurance that they need, that self-esteem that they need, teaching them how to be protectors and providers. Instead, all a lot of these guys knows is to abuse women. They take the anger out on their mother because the mother now has to embody a sort of masculine and feminine trait when needs be, and create sort of a monstrous thing. Because when the child's not living, she's screaming and going on to try to get him or her intact, which the job really is for the father. She's a caregiver. She can't even get to embody the role of being a caregiver because she has to ensure that you eat, you go to sleep, and you get up alive. Can you imagine? Hats off to many mothers. That is now I can understand why the Bible says, can a mother's tender love towards her child cease? Because the mother still not give up. Wayward as she be, she not give up. Bad as she may be, she not giving up. While the men give up. The mothers do not give up. The men give up. And men, God has held you accountable, and he will continue to hold you accountable until you decide that you're going to be the father in the life of your child. The Bible says you are worse than an unbeliever. You're worse than a cheater when you don't take care of your children. You don't take care of your family. God actually says that, and you know that an unbeliever can be a pedophile, a rapist, a murderer, a thief. It's so many different things. He says you're worse than the man who cheats, and cheating is horrible. Men, you have not been good fathers. Stop using this ridiculous, weak, unsound hypothesis that, she hide it. Stop your foolishness. You know that that's not most of the cases. Because there are many cases where the women have begged the men to contribute to the child's life, and the man not give zinc. He not give zinc. He not give the roof. He not give the steel nor the block. Nothing. I don't know how their consciences hold up. It has to be singed. It has to be snared and gone. Men don't have to do better than that. You have to do better. Someone want to pick me some millions of dollars because you have been wayward. And that's why the judgment of God upon men especially. And they said, and also abusing the women. That's another thing. Anyway, guys, you know what to do with TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe, give me one of those lions, and you can follow me on Instagram.